is my 2001-ish Tama Swingstar classic rock kit. I think these kits were like from 2001 to 2005, but it's made in Taiwan, 10 by 12, 11 by 13, 16 by 16, 16 by 22, and a 5.5 by 14 snare drum. All the toms, including the floor tom, have 6 lugs per side, including that 16-inch floor tom, which is kind of cheap. Bass drums, 8 lugs per side with the AccuTune bass drum hoops, which I think was first shown on the first came out on the Art Star Spirit, and then later on the Rock Stars and all that stuff like that, which looks really cool in black, but doesn't look so great on other color finished drum kits. This kit is Philippine mahogany, not a lot like the original Swingstars were, but the wood grain on the inside anyway goes around the drum rather than it goes around instead of up and down like the old Philippine mahogany shells. The inner plies may still do that, or maybe swap ply, cross laminated, however they call it. But with the sizes of this kit, essentially it is a pearl export as far as the shells go. Tama used to be 11 by 12, 12 by 13, 13 by 14, extras depth drums. And so it's kind of odd that, like you're looking at this like it's a Tama, but it's actually kind of more like a CB700 or a pearl export. The snare drum is actually a beaded shell, which is cool, with the little lugs that hop over, but doesn't really have much of a snare bed to speak of on it, and that throw off is just straight Taiwanese. They put a Tama logo on it, but that looks like what you would see on your average CB700, the dipped throw off and everything. It's just a stamped steel butt. The stands are also a little cheaper. It does have an Omnisphere tom holder. This one's missing the memory locks, but they did come with memory locks for the bass drum, but it doesn't have any on the toms. But the rivets on these stands are, let's see if I can find one here. Like the castings, they have like this cheaper, almost like your hardware store rivet that you would use at home on them. The diameter of the tubing, even though it's single brace, they also did a double brace version of this hardware, but it's really thin diameter stuff. So actually kind of cool because it's lightweight. I like the single brace stuff better than the double brace versions. I do have a double braced version kicking around in my spare parts. It's just the base, but it's really hard to get anything that fits in the tops of those stands. The lug design is actually kind of cool and kind of a classic throwback, just kind of nondescript Ludwig meets Slingerland kind of design, but it's kind of consistent with the floor tom brackets and the tom brackets. The hardware, it's kind of in the era when Tama went kind of liquidy on everything. This almost looks like a Rockstar lug, but the Rockstar ones were one-piece casings. The rims are really thin and light. You would have to run, if you wanted to run an isolation mount that clipped on, you'd have to run different hoops. As a matter of fact, this 13 is, looks like maybe somebody had dropped it at some point or something, because it seems like it's a little close on that side, a little roomy on that side. So, sitting with a PDP double kick pedal. It was kind of that era too. You'd see them all over at Guitar Center all the time on some, catalog special or something. Hi-hat stand. The original bass drum pedal had that same footboard. I think it was the HP 20 or 21. I'm not 100% sure, but the bass rotates. There's no tension adjustment, and the spring's pretty dead. I did pull it apart and stretch the spring back out. But anyway, I'm gonna sitting with SABIAN B8 Pro medium pack. The cymbals actually looked like they had been in a cymbal bag that was wet, because they were a little bit rusty on the bottoms and on the edges, or maybe somebody played them in a room with a swamp cooler, I'm not sure. So I did clean them up a little bit with barkeeper's friend and a lot of elbow grease. Also, I actually did the ketchup trick too, but that didn't work that well. Ketchup has vinegar in it, which will help. The tomato paste sticks to it, but then the other stuff eats away at the rust. But at any rate, I went back through and Sharpied all the logos. So that's a homebrew trick that I've been doing for a long time with old cymbals. So, you know, even on the V8 Pro stuff, I kind of went through and just darkened them up. And so you can see little, you know, doesn't look that great, but at a distance, you're like, hey, cool, it's got the logo still. Anyway, I'm not crazy about the crash on this set, but the ride and the hi-hats are pretty good. And that snare drum, it's probably my least favorite thing on the kit. But anyway, I'm gonna put it in the stand, play through it a little bit, and get an idea of what it sounds like. For, you know, these things are going on like Music Go Round, and you know, Music Go Round, you can probably find them for like a couple $100 with hardware maybe. They probably usually split them up, but at any rate, pretty cool little kit for cheap. Doesn't sound the greatest all the time. I just put new heads on top, original heads on the bottom. Bass drum is a kick drum head is an EQ3. These are EC2s on the top. HD dry snare head. Tama original head on the snare side head on the bottom. There is an impact patch, and I put a Remo holes cut out on the front factory head because it was hand cut out and kind of jagged. I got this from the original owner. It looked like it was like a jam room drum set. The guy was moving and couldn't take the kit with him, so I got it for a pretty decent price as it sits, including the SP drum stool. So anyway, I'm gonna do the snare drum without the mute on it first. It's an HD drive, so it does have some muting on it. 5.5 by 14, 8 lug. With the mute. Eight by 10 by 12. 11 by 13. It's tuned a little baggy, like I said, that hoops a little bit out around. 16 by 16, 6 lug. So it's hot today too. It's like over 100 in Sacramento, so things are changing on me too. We'll just let that go. I would probably normally put a piece of tape on it or something. 16 by 22. Uh, 14-inch B8 Pro medium hi-hat. Bell profiles on these are really sharp. It just goes from the flat bow to a really pronounced bell on all of these. The ride not so much actually, but the crash, 16-inch medium crash. A lot of high overtones. 20-inch medium ride. like I said, the ride and the hi-hats are okay. That crash is really bright. Even when you choke it, there's still sound going on in there. Anyway, I'm gonna play through the kit a little bit, let you get a hear for it. This is probably gonna end up being a either a house kit somewhere, or maybe somebody's like a kit that I leave at somebody's house. Probably with the cymbals too. I don't know. I'm not crazy about that crash. I gotta find something. That's okay as an accent, but if that's your main, you'll hear it in the video. It's not gonna be pleasant. That's my opinion anyway. All right.